Time to talk about one of my favourite brands in the world, and that's Manscaped. Why, you ask? Well, you don't know the struggles that we used to go through back in the day. You don't know what it was like trimming your balls when all we had was a razor and a prey. The nicks, the cuts. It looked like a Saw movie when you were done. Now, with Manscaped, it's smooth. If it was any smoother, it'd be like avocados. And again, risk-free. There is no blood, there is no scary bits anymore. This is unbelievable. Without Manscaped, none of that would be possible. Thank you, Manscaped. For not just one, but 3 ball trimmers. These guys really know what they're doing. The Lawnmower 3.0 Plus, 4.0 Pro, and 5.0 Ultra. Each trimmer is equipped with skin-safe technology, an LED spotlight, and unique features for different grooming needs. And they're waterproof, by the way, so you can do this anywhere. And if you're taking it on the go, these trimmers come with a travel case and even a travel lock to avoid any accidental powering and or weird looks in the airport. So upgrade your ball trimmer and upgrade your life with Manscaped. I'm telling you, it works. Get 20% off and free shipping when you use our code THEKICKOFF at manscaped.com/thekickoff. Don't forget, it's the kickoff, block capitals, all one word, 20% off, free shipping. Get it now. This is a first for me. I've never seen a club reach an FA Cup final and still be so miserable. Like, Newcastle on in a final, I'm feeling great today. Man United fans are devastated. I don't understand how this is possible, but it's like all my dreams have come true. Like, it's absolutely insane. And I'm like starting to feel sorry for Man United fans. That's how bad this is getting. And I really do. Like, I'm not even just saying this. Like, I'm watching KG just like so devastated. You're in an FA Cup final, but there's no happiness. Do you know why? Because there's no direction. There's nothing to tell any Man United fan, this is going well. Even though they're in a final. Because we all know they don't deserve to be in a final. There's not like any sense of, yeah, this is a repeatable process, which if we continue doing is going to lead to long-term success. None of that. They've just happened to spend so much money, the most in the Premier League, the highest wage payers in the Premier League, so that they have got some talent in the team, the way they can score a few goals. But there is nothing about the way this team is playing, the spirit within the side, the tactics, any of it, to tell anyone this is a long-term successful project at all. Complete and utter shambles from top to bottom. And it's weird, I should be jealous of them being in an FA Cup final. But it's against Man City, so you're like, well, whatever. Especially if Man United play like that. And that's the ironic thing is, for quite a while, Manchester United fans would use examples of Arteta and Klopp and show that their early days were also hard. They stuck with them and it paid off, so that's why we need to do the same. But the problem is there'd be flashes of what was to come within those early years. There's nothing. Even when Man United win, they look like shit. Every time almost. You can count on one hand, less than 5 fingers in fact, of how many good performances Man United have actually had this season. In all of the wins, you can win as many games as you want. None of them have been good performances hardly. There's been a few. This is not a process that is going to go anywhere. And look, people have said from day one, you're only saying this because you're a Manchester United hater. No, the Manchester United hater, which is very much in me, I completely admit, is what finds it funny. The opinion that I'm giving is my honest, true opinion, not blinded by my hatred or whatever. If anything, I want you to keep this mug as long as humanly possible. Please. It's the first time Newcastle have ever had a chance of finishing ahead of Manchester United in the Premier League as when you've had Ten Hag. I want him for life. I love this man. In my wildest dreams, I could never have imagined that we could find someone who was that bad in the transfer market, that bad at tactics, and that bad at man management. It's a fucking perfect combination for me to watch the downfall of Man United. Keep giving him money for Christ's sakes. But it isn't all Ten Hag. I'm not here just to blame Ten Hag, right? I understand. It's the players and Ten Hag. But let's just be clear. All of you who said I was wrong about Ten Hag, oh, you owe me a big fucking apology. Get them in the comments. I'm waiting. I'm going to be reading them, you fucking idiots. Sorry, I didn't mean to be aggressive. I'm going to be reading them, right? Just give it accountability is what I'm looking for from you lot. Start with, I'm sorry, Brian, I'm a stupid idiot, and just go from there, okay? Thank you. Now, I do agree with Man United fans when they say it's not all Ten Hag, some of this is on the players. Yeah, that's a totally reasonable argument to make. I get my back up when people say it's not Ten Hag's fault, it's all on the players. I'm like, do you realise Eric Ten Hag bought 10 players for this club and loaned a few more and spent 400 million? How is that not like a thing. How do we ignore that? It's like you take over a house, you start renovating it, and you start spending money on it, and some of it's dropping to bits, and you're blaming the previous owner as if you haven't had an input in the state of the fucking house. You literally have had plenty money to totally transform this club, and the reality is he has made it worse, not better. He bought Onana, which is one of the flops of the season. God knows if that's ever going to work out. He bought Mason Mount, whose two best positions or left wing, or is a number 10. He can't get a game in either position, and by the way, he's never fit anyway. Højlund I actually like, but the fucking service to the kid is so bad, you might as well not be playing. System-based problem, by the way. Not all on the players. But one of the players Ten Hag bought to provide that service was Anthony. 85 fucking million. Total flop. What a good substitution that was, by the way. Tactical mastermind, innit? Casemiro, right? I understand the accolades, the career he's had, but what the fuck, man? And the fact that now, the only thing really keeping this Manchester United side together this season, this is the saddest fucking truth of it all, is an 18-year-old kid called Kobbie Mainoo, who has nothing to do with Ten Hag. All right, Ten Hag put him in the team because he had to, because of injuries, and the kid shined, and it was a no-brainer to leave him there. That's not like, wow, good tactical management. That was obvious, right? And the minute you pull this kid out of the situation, the deck of cards falls to bits. If that's the case, after spending 400 million, you are a fucking disgrace. Before we even talk about man management, tactics, or any of it, that is a disgrace. I can't believe there's anyone left defending this guy. When I say, just even saying that is like, this is mental, innit? I just love him so much. And how did so many Manchester United fans know or expect a 3-1? This is going to collapse now. We're going to end up 3-3. How did they know that? Because it's been happening all fucking season. Because this is the pattern. It's what continuously happens. We spoke earlier in the video about looking for progress, signs of it. We're not seeing signs of progress. We're seeing signs of a team regressing, getting worse. And for everyone who always points and goes, these players down tools, they let the manager down, which, I mean, I know Roy Keane says it and all that, but like, there's so many new players been brought into this club now. And this new thing of Manchester United downing tools mid-game and collapsing under the least bit of pressure, it's quite unique to Ten Hag, actually. And it's getting worse under Ten Hag even. This is not something that happened amongst all the other managers in the way it's happening now. This is very much a Ten Hag problem. And as much as I agree, the players are fucking not good enough and they're not digging in, yada, 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 it's getting worse under him. More defeats this season than they've had in the last, 30-odd fucking year? Not a coincidence. We've never seen a Manchester United side in my lifetime capitulate as often in such short spaces of times within games. That's never happened before. And reminder, this is after 2 years of coaching this lot week in, week out. Why do we praise managers like Mikel Arteta and especially Pep Guardiola? We often talk about how they control games, those managers specifically. We don't talk about how the players do it specifically. We talk about the managers because it's down to their systems, their tactics, their instructions of the players as to how to perform on the pitch and how they retain the ball and don't capitulate when the pressure's on. Sure, the players do matter. I'm not disputing that. But it's the impact the manager has on those teams to make them harder to beat that we acknowledge. And when it comes to Ten Hag, all of a sudden, that's not even applicable. It's not even his responsibility even. As if we haven't, for decades, watching the Premier League, acknowledged certain managers who are good at making teams hard to beat, no matter what players are playing, because it's their identity on those teams. And with Ten Hag, it's like it's not even a thing. It's not even possible for Ten Hag to achieve it. The players have their own minds. You know, he's not in control of them. But with other managers, it's acknowledged as a standard procedure. And this cognitive dissonance, because people can't handle the reality that they were completely wrong about Ten Hag, it's really fucking embarrassing at this point, man. Because if you want what's best for Manchester United and you're a Man United fan, and a lot of you are out there, because I get the insult, surely it's time to fucking acknowledge the obvious truth, man. This man can't set you up properly. You're wide open. You're easy to turn over. No matter what point of control you should have over a game, whether it's 3-0, 4-0, you never put it past them to fucking capitulate. And yes, there's a level of mental weakness in the players, fine. But to say Ten Hag has got nothing to do with it, it's a joke, honestly. When you take out a kid like Kobbie Mainoo and the entire system capitulates because he isn't able to do all the legwork and all the running and hold it all together, it's obvious though, the team isn't well coached. It shouldn't matter that much. Just one young lad like that coming out shouldn't make all the difference, but it does. Because Kobbie Mainoo is a plaster over an axe wound of a poorly coached midfield, a badly set up team. And I understand there's injuries, fair enough. In the Premier League, sometimes it's not easy to perform to the best of your ability with injuries. If anyone can understand that, it's a Newcastle fan. And I think some of Man United's defeats this season, you could say, all right, yeah, there's a few injuries there, I get that. Against Coventry, that's where it doesn't stack up anymore. They're 8th in the Championship, and I'm sure they've lost like 3 in a row or something like that recently. As the biggest wage payers in the country and the highest spenders, even if you've got a few injuries, You've got more than enough to blast through Coventry. When Newcastle played Sunderland, right, similar level team in the Championship, we had loads of injuries. We're playing away at the Stadium of Light. It's a derby. Everything was set up for an upset. And look, I'm not just saying this to trash Sunderland. I couldn't believe how easy it was. We dealt with them. Because we were coached well, we controlled the game. We didn't allow for that kamikaze moment to happen. And we had plenty of injuries. We've had them all season. We've had more than Man United. And our base level of ability within the squad is not as good as Manchester United's. We just happen to have a few good players. We still dealt with them. It's just not an excuse, man. I don't want to hear about your fucking injuries with this game. We know the players aren't as good as what you deserve in terms of how much you've spent. But still, they're good enough to beat Coventry and make it look easy. And reality is, they're very fucking lucky that wasn't 4-3. And I understand for the amount of money Man United spent, the players that they have should be better. Players like Rashford should be pulling in a better shift. Absolutely. No arguments. Rashford's a fucking fraud at this point. I mean, it's a disgrace what he's doing for that club. Even if he doesn't get on with the manager or whatever the fucking situation is there. I'm astounded at what his returns are for the amount of money he's getting paid. Do you know, I'll tell you what, Marcus Rashford, by the way. In 9 seasons of Premier League football, he's only outscored Callum Wilson once. Callum Wilson isn't that highly rated. Callum Wilson's on, 50 grand a week. Marcus Rashford's on 300. Make it make sense. Marcus Rashford, as much as I do agree there's more talent there than what he's delivering right now, he's one of the most overrated players in the history of the Premier League. And he needs to sort his shit out. So I'm not just here to trash Ten Hag, right? It's got to be said at this point that, like, everything I said back a year ago, more than a year ago, when I was watching some of these capitulations, like the 7-0 against Liverpool, and Ten Hag was getting off with it, and the fans were giving him a free ride because, it's his first season, yada, yada, yada. It's getting worse, man. So if you haven't learned by this point, you're just burying your head in the sand because you don't want to be wrong. And that's where you're unsavable, really. It's just a waste of fucking time. And look, I feel very sorry for Coventry City fans because that should have been 4-3. For that to get chalked off, heartbreak, and they deserved that. And I think that's why Man United fans truly are gutted today, because they know, like, we're frauds. You know, we're in the FA Cup final, but we don't fucking deserve this. This hasn't been earned. I feel sorry for Ratcliffe, actually, as much as he's a bit of a prick trying to get Dan Ashworth from us. He must be looking at this now thinking, what the fuck do we do? Because it's not an easy solution. And as much as people go, just rip it all out, just get rid of them all. That's not a logical answer, because you can't just do that. And when people try and defend Ten Hag, the thing that makes it indefensible is when you look at what Emery did with Aston Villa, what Big Ange did with Spurs, what Eddie Howe did with Newcastle, what plenty of managers have done in making chicken salad out of chicken shit. Sometimes you've got to take players who are underperforming and make them play better. Ten Hag has not shown that ability to do that, in my opinion. You can rattle off Delo or what, like one player here and there, or people will name players that they've never seen before Ten Hag, like Manu, and say, well, that proves it. How do you know Manu wouldn't be doing this for another coach? Because I'm seeing lots of footballers here playing the worst football of their life under Ten Hag. So the vast majority of the data is telling us he's not the long-term right man for the job, even if they need a lot of new players. You wouldn't trust him with the money anyway, would you? So I think, unless Ten Hag's sacked, I'll make this my last one about Ten Hag. I know some of you are sick of talking about it, but how could I not, when you're making it to a cup final in the circumstances you are, and Manchester United fans feel the way they do? It's an insane situation to be in. I don't even know how Newcastle have got a chance of finishing above Man United, because as much as you lot are moaning about your injuries, they don't even compare to what we've had. And we don't have the squad that you have to start off with. Steve Bruce FC is still surviving in there. So as much as I'd want Ten Hag to stay at Manchester United for as long as possible, I'm kind of asking the question to you lot now of, is there anyone left still disagreeing with me on this? So let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you want to apologise, I'm accepting the apologies. Don't worry about it. It's fine, man. We're all friends here. And don't forget, I did call this over a year ago, but apparently I'm just a hater. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. Who knows? Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the Kickoff YouTube channel. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.